Wrestling Connection.
Afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the latest edition of the Wrestling Connection. I am your connection to the wrestling world, Ken Hill, and alongside me, as always, the Zack Attack and the Mr. Hardcore Enigma himself, Zack Martinkus.
What up, everybody? Triple M in the house.
Well, we go from Triple M to Triple H. Going into this week in review. Mm-hmm. We go to this past Monday, and the ending. We even just started with the ending of Monday Night Raw. Was one of the most surreal, one of the most violent we have seen in some time.
Yeah, it even shocked me. Even watching the whole thing, even watching that, even as a fan of Daniel Bryan, it was like, oh my gosh, this is like the Attitude Era all over again, but like vamped up, and it was like. Right. Man, he's lucky it wasn't there. He's lucky it was not there. Things would have been different.
I mean, for a little context, you had Triple H at the end of the show calling out Daniel Bryan, man to man, just for war words. Mm-hmm. And it seems like that Triple H, okay, so you know what? You got me. All right, you got your match. I respect you for what you did. You went on your way. You pretty much upheld Raw to get my attention. You got it. You got the match, and tries to give him a handshake of respect. Bryan turns him down, and Triple H surprisingly doesn't get pissed. He's just not really surprised because
right.
He's been there. He's tried the whole
pretty much.
So he doesn't really bring Bryan. And then you see Stephanie coming out, and for those who saw the show, you saw throughout the show how Stephanie and Triple H were seemingly at odds with each other. Mm-hmm. Just because how pretty much thanks to Daniel Bryan, everything was falling apart. Triple H even made the stipulation at the beginning of the show, the top of the show, that if he won, whoever wins the match between him and Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania gets into the triple threat match. So it's a guarantee there's going to be a triple threat match for the WWE World Title at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
So it's either going to be Triple H versus Orton versus Batista, or Bryan versus Orton versus Batista. And Stephanie was pretty much just like, what the hell? I thought we got past this. Now you're throwing yourself into this. But you can't really blame Triple H in that respect, because, Batista has pretty much been a freaking crybaby. Mm-hmm. Orton's been a freaking crybaby.
Yeah.
Baby about it. Mm-hmm. Batista's objecting to everything that Triple H has done as COO. Like Triple H pointed out, Orton pretty much can't do anything or compete in any match without Triple H holding his damn hand.
Very true, very true.
So and once again, you ask, do you blame Triple H for doing what he did, for saying what he did, and the actions he took? No. But once again, you have Triple H inserting himself into the main event, and really, does anyone take Triple H seriously as a main eventer at this point?
Well, we all saw what happened last year at WrestleMania 29 when he went up against Brock Lesnar. That was a crazy match, but it also goes to
the wrong guy went over.
Right.
Okay. All right. Because here's the problem with that. Lesnar kicked Triple H's ass at SummerSlam the year before, mm-hmm. So that match was just to give Triple H his setback.
Right.
Pretty much. Mm-hmm. And now you're wondering, why are they doing this here? Okay. No one's really surprised by the stipulation. You knew that Triple H wouldn't just give that stipulation to Bryan, that if he wins, he's in the match, without some sort of caveat.
Right.
Right. So, bottom line, that stipulation that he makes causes friction between him and Stephanie throughout the night, and he says, I'm going to take care of this, and Stephanie gives him an ultimatum saying, you better. Mm-hmm. 2 words.
Yeah.
2-word ultimatum. Mm-hmm. And then at the end of the night, Triple H actually is trying to give Bryan his respect. Mm-hmm. He's seemingly walking away from this, head held high. Mm-hmm. And then Stephanie comes out, and she is PO'd to the max, saying, that was your big plan. Mm-hmm. And then she brings police out. She's actually filing formal charges against Bryan. The police corner him in the ring. pretty much beat the bejesus out of him, handcuff him. Triple H seemingly tries to break it up, but right before that, you could see a little smirk on his face, because and then suddenly once he gets in the ring, he says, "Okay, guys, break it up. You're not even real cops."
Which isn't real.
And then that just flipped the switch. Everyone realized they set us all up.
Yeah.
And then Triple H just for the next, I think, 10 minutes proceeds to beat the bejesus out of Bryan, who's handcuffed, by the way. Slams him into the announce table, wrist first, because he's back first, wrist first, which will, if you're handcuffed, if anyone who's been handcuffed, he gets shoved up against the wall, it kills.
Yeah, it really does.
It could like
not that I've ever been arrested, but I know the experience from that, because one idiot friend decided to do that, and let's just put it like that. But
he gets dragged. Triple H drags Bryan around ringside, bashes him into the security wall, even dunks his head underwater from it. Pretty much just beats him pillar to post, and then speaking of post, sets him up in one of the corner steel posts, takes a steel chair, and sandwiches Bryan's skull between the steel chair and the post. And this had already gotten to the point where he was already beating on him for 10 plus minutes. This was pretty much the Triple H of old. This is pretty much the Triple H you saw in 2002. Like beating bejesus out of Undertaker, out of the Hardys, out of Stone Cold, The Rock. This was the Triple H of old that people were kind of begging for. Well, you got your damn wish. You got the Triple H of old. You got the Triple H who pretty much just.
Don't forget though the war he had with Shawn Michaels. That was
ugly.
Yeah.
But I mean, the point is, you got the Triple H of old now, and now we don't know what's. And I mean, you don't know what's going to happen here.
Right.
So I mean, I don't know how to move on from that, but I mean, then you have John Cena versus Bray Wyatt, which took a very interesting turn here. Cena basically admitting that he's afraid of Bray Wyatt. Jokes aside, I mean, Hawaiian shirt jokes, rocking chair jokes aside, he's afraid of Bray Wyatt. And when was the last time you've ever heard Cena admit that his opponent actually scares him?
No, never. I mean, I would say though you would count the war he had with Brock Lesnar a few years ago, but it doesn't really count.
But that's just because Lesnar physically dominated Cena. No, Bray's not attacking him physically. That's what his cohorts are for. That's what Harper and Rowan are for. No, Bray is taking Cena down rung by rung, emotionally, verbally, mentally, and that's not really a game that even in Cena's 10 years he's really played with anyone. I mean, even Triple H, Edge, it's always stemmed from some sort of jealousy. Bray's not displaying that sort of jealousy. He's just straight up attacking. He's straight up attacking Cena's morals, his standards, and not just criticizing his fans like, say, Rock would, but essentially just saying, your fans are children who worship superheroes. So what happens when their superheroes disappear?
Basically, they become
that's what basically Wyatt is talking about here. He's talking about taking away Cena's legacy, and he's saying that's all Cena really has that keeps him from being that proverbial old man huddled up in the rocking chair. So I mean, God knows what turn it's going to take. That's going to take this week.
Right.
And then we even have this little small storyline going on with the Shield and Kane. How last week in Memphis with the Occupy Raw, Kane immediately jumps to the conclusion that Bryan had a hand in this, that he couldn't have done it by himself, and singles out Jerry the King Lawler, a Memphis native, and tries to have the Shield, and tries to sick the Shield on him.
Which the whole dang time I was like, oh man, come on. Of all people, not him.
And then you have the Shield saying, you have Seth Rollins of the Shield telling Jerry they're going to do the Shield does what's best for business. They slowly turn around. Kane gets to look like, what the hell is going on? And the Shield obliterates Kane.
Right, and just gives the punishment that the guy deserves. I mean,
It's essentially, yeah. Okay, and I mean, then we find out. Then we find out this week on SmackDown that there's a 4-way tag team match for a #1 contendership for the tag team titles. Ryback, 3MB.
wait, 3MB was still around? I thought those guys were gone.
No, 3-man band. No, they're still around.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, 3-man band.
Oh,
The Shield. And I'm trying to remember who the fourth. The Real Americans. The Real Americans. A 4-way tag team match, and you had the Shield closing in on the victory on SmackDown for the #1 contendership, Ambrose and Rollins. But then suddenly Kane comes out at ringside, and the whole thing just breaks down. And suddenly you have the 3 teams just beating up on the Shield, and we go backstage later night, and we find out that Kane pretty much orchestrated all this. There was never meant to be a #1 contendership. It was just his way of getting revenge on the Shield, and grants a tag team title match to both Ryback and the Real Americans. So, which means in all likelihood that we're going to see a triple threat tag team match.
Oh, like you kind of predicted. Well, almost.
Almost, but where that leaves the Shield, we don't know, and something that we're going to touch on later in the show. Now, speaking of Kane, he is going to be our subject for this week's Superstar.
This week's Superstar Drama.
Now, Kane had a unusual start to his career.
Yep.
Debuting alongside Undertaker's
longtime manager Paul Bearer.
claiming to be the half brother of the Undertaker.
Yep.
He was masked. He had the flaming bodysuit. I mean he had the mask. He was very macabre. He was deadly. He was vicious. He was violent. I mean he used fire to great effect. He had this ring pyro where you just raise his hands, slam him down. The pyros were up. It's still one of the most awe-inspiring spectacles you'll see. Like for an entrance, you'll just see the flames just shoot up out of nowhere and say, "Oh God, here he comes."
Yeah, and plus, not to mention, he debuted, like during Bad Blood of 1997, during the very first Hell in a Cell match against Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker.
And The Undertaker. And Kane would proceed to tombstone Undertaker, costing him the match against Michaels. They would have a subsequent Hell in a Cell match down the line, where it took 3 tombstones from Undertaker to put away Kane. But I mean, their feud, their rivalry, as not just brothers, but as a tag team, on and off rivals throughout the years.
Yep.
Was one of Kane's highlights. A former WWE champion.
Yeah, but and for the record, his reign is considered like the shortest.
Officially the shortest.
Yeah.
At one day. Now, I mean, he's a former WWE champion, Kane.
Yep.
He is a former World Heavyweight Champion.
Yep.
ECW champion.
Yep.
Multi-time tag team champion with his brother, The Undertaker. With, surprisingly of all people, Shane the Hurricane Helms.
Yeah.
Surprised as the short-lived tag team Hurricane. Tag team with RVD shortly before he entered his unmasked phase, where he became less humanizing, where he returned to the Kane of old. He was violent, he was brooding, he was sociopathic, tore a swath of destruction through WWE for years on end. Came to a point in around say, I think it was around 2011, 2012, where he put the mask back on, because he once again he felt like he was humanizing. He wasn't the monster he once was, and tried returning to his roots.
Or Barry calling himself as the devil's favorite demon. Yeah, right. I'll go into that later onward, but
right. I mean, going against John Cena, against Randy Orton,
Zack Ryder,
who was popular at the time, and then got into an interesting feud with Daniel Bryan down the line. Who, I mean, they originally were just opponents in a triple threat match against CM Punk for the WWE Championship.
Right.
But then they developed their own personal rivalry, which started with Bryan actually upsetting Kane at SummerSlam in 2012. They would just go on to have this oddball feud where at one point the WWE Universe, instead of having them as a tag team or just in a singles match, voted for them to hug it out in one of the most surreal segments. It was pretty much like this is it was like that. This is your life, Rocky segment that Mick Foley pulled a few years back.
Do not compare that to that. That was beyond that.
I'm saying it was so bad that it was good, just because you could hear this was a smart heavy crowd chanting "hug it out, hug it out," and when they did it, it was just one of the most funniest surreal moments in recent memory in Raw history.
Well, I might have you beyond that though. There was one moment where their therapist, Dr. Sheldon, came.
Dr. Shelby.
Yeah, no, whatever. Came in, tried to sort their issues and whatnot, and they happened to bring Team Rhodes Scholars, which is the team of Sandow and Rhodes, and
Damian Sandow.
Basically Sandow was completely dissing Dr. Shelby's teaching and whatnot, basically saying that they were better off
comparing him to Dr. Phil.
And he basically flipped out. It's like, Dr. Phil, you what? Get him! Yep, and then basically Kane says, now that's what I call a happy place. Yes! 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 So this is still the funniest thing ever.
And again, that made formation for one of the most interesting, one of the more surreal, and one of the most entertaining tag teams of recent memory. Team Hell No of Kane and Daniel Bryan, even winning the tag team championships at one point and holding them for over 240 days, which was impressive enough, before losing to the Shield in 2013.
Yep.
Now, in 2013, Kane went through a sort of metamorphosis, breaking off from Daniel Bryan. Breaking off from Daniel Bryan. He kind of sort of got just lost in the shuffle. He started feuding against the debuting Bray Wyatt and the Wyatt family. He would end up losing. He'd end up being kidnapped by the Wyatts, more or less, and then came back as Corporate Kane, devoting his services to Stephanie McMahon and the Authority. And the thing is, he's in a suit, but he's still a monster. In a suit.
I wouldn't say the full extent though, because I mean the normal Kane though, he had like one eye was a different color than the other. Now both of them are the same thing. It's like, dude.
So we're going to talk about Kane and the Shield a little bit later in our preview for our predictions preview segment. But right now we want to show you one of Kane's signature maneuvers, the signature maneuver of not just Kane, but of Undertaker and many big wrestlers throughout the years, the choke slam.
Time for Zack and Kane's
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to What a Maneuver. Since we are going to be highlighting Kane in the Superstar of the Week segment, Zach and I would like to demonstrate to you one of Kane's signature maneuvers, the choke slam. Now, of course, Kane and Undertaker popularized the choke slam, but it's been used by big men in wrestling over the last few decades, such as Giant Gonzalez, Kevin Nash, Abyss in Total Nonstop Action and Wrestling, and even Sid Vicious used it in WWE before the Undertaker came along.
Who thought about that?
So we would like to demonstrate to you the choke slam. It's a very basic maneuver.
Yep.
It's simply a front chokehold.
Yep.
Then flinging your opponent's arm over.
Yep.
And now, typically, big men use this move. They can perform it flawlessly simply by lifting. Slightly smaller wrestlers will often use
Lift him up
from the waist to get more elevation.
Yep.
It's a very simple move, but very impactful, and it looks even more so when you're driving him through a table or a steel chair.
Yeah. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Oh! I'm good, kids. Don't try that at all. It hurts.
Oh, God.
God.
You sold that very well, sir.
Yeah, although it was still painful after that. Hey, you gotta take it. Hey, if I gotta take a beating somehow on me training to become a wrestler someday, you might as well try something you never really done before. And I guess I should embrace myself. You took a big bump, and if you're going to be going to wrestling like you plan to, you're going to be taking a hell of a lot more. Yeah. I just hope to God I don't have to endure a lot of choke slams. I'm not checking against that. I'm just saying, ixnay on the choke slam per se.
Ixnay on the oakslam K.
Like what she said.
Okay, now Now, you and I both actually. Now, normally we just do the regular Zack Attack where Zack calls someone out. This week, both you and I have got someone that we want to call out.
Yep.
So we're first going to start with the madman himself, Zach Martinkus, in the Zack Attack.
Okay. So
Time for this week's
my
Zack
call
Attack.
out would, as weird as it's gonna sound, is to Stephanie McMahon. Now, as we talked about, basically Stephanie was basically cracking the whip set at Triple H that basically kicked the ever-living crud out of Daniel Bryan. Okay. The guy was already doing pretty much his own job. You didn't need to add insult to injury by freaking pursuing that, not to mention, basically, I'm trying to keep it censored, basically slapping him around like crazy. I'm sorry, let the man fight for himself, and for the love of Pete's sake, stay out of his own stinking business. Seriously, if Triple H wanted to fight someone, he can handle it for himself. Heck, he's lucky I wasn't there, because things would have been a lot different there, honey. And I'm talking about Triple H, though. He probably would have gotten the beating he deserved. So, all I've said, Stephanie, let the man fight him. Let him fight his own battles, and you can fight your own battles. Okay?
I can understand it. I mean, it may be Stephanie's business. It's her business. It's her family's business. But okay, you know what? If you wanted to fire the guy, fire the guy. You see, this is what I don't like about Stephanie. She's vindictive, like her father. Instead of just straight out punishing people or doing the pragmatic thing and letting them go, you gotta pursue them to the ends of the earth. You gotta beat them down so bad that they want to quit.
Right. I mean, it's just basically like freaking. It's basically like Ms. McMahon, but with a skirt. I'm sorry to put that in y'all's image, but that's basically what it is. Ms. McMahon with a skirt. He just came out of the closet.
Yeah, and a $1 billion boob job.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
All right, man. So
now,
since I've done mine, let's hear yours, dude.
Now we go into my segment, Ken's Den, who I want to call out. Mm-hmm. Someone I want to call another person of the authority. Someone we've highlighted.
Oh yeah.
Kane.
Or as I like to call him, Mr. Sellout Kane.
And okay, what I was about to elaborate on before was that Kane essentially not only had the 3 tag teams gang up on the Shield and lay them out, not unlike the Shield's numbers, but Then he had the New Age Outlaws come out.
Oh man.
And just kick the Shield while they're down. And then you have the Shield and Kane backstage saying, "Oh, pretty much reliving their glory days, saying how great it was." You did it after 3 tag teams in their prime lay out the Shield. You just came in and put the boots to them. You did absolutely nothing. And Kane just pretty much just standing there, just watching all the destruction. Here's an idea. Kane, if you are the monster in the suit that you claim to be, here's a simple idea. Get 2 tag team partners, which will likely be the New Age Outlaws. Challenge the Shield to a 3-on-3 match at WrestleMania, and prove that you're still the monster. Go out there, beat the crap out of them, and prove and get your revenge that way. Seriously, Kane sicking other people to do his dirty work.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but whatever happened to the monster who, as you know, was part of tag team partners with X-Pac, went at each other and went up against the Undertaker and Big Show at SummerSlam 1999. Where was that? Where's the guy who basically kicked the crap out of freaking MVP at Armageddon of 06 in an Inferno match, which he ended up losing to him at SummerSlam. Ended up losing to it was that chicken version of an Inferno match. Where the heck's that?
Where's the Kane who went absolutely ape crap? Because I can't say the other word. Went absolute ape crap in 2000, from 2003 on to 2006. The moment he unmasked, hell was basically unleashed.
Right.
He beat the crap out of RVD. He beat the crap out of Shane McMahon. Out of Chris Benoit. Out of Triple H. Pretty much anyone in his path, he pretty much mowed down.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're questioning, like, where is that?
Where's that Kane? Give me that Kane for WrestleMania, and maybe I'll be a little happier. Maybe I'll be glad. I mean, I'd like to see him get his comeuppance. I'd like to see him get his comeuppance head on, not just sicking like 3-4 different tag teams on the Shield. You want to get your revenge? Do it yourself.
Right.
Do it like you've been doing your entire career.
Right. Yeah, and basically, as I've said every single time, put up or shut up. That's how it is. Put up or shut up.
So, speaking of WrestleMania, we go into our predictions preview segment, and I'm saying this right now, like I just did. If the Shield, if Kane's really going to want to get his ultimate revenge on the Shield, it needs to happen at WrestleMania.
Right.
And if the Shield wants to get their revenge for the absolute beatdown, they're likely going to challenge Kane to a 3-on-3 match. Get any 2 guys you want. Doesn't matter who. I mean, it could be the tag team champions down in NXT, the Ascension. It could be the New Age Outlaws.
Right.
It could just be two big guys on the roster that Kane just picks out of the blue.
Right.
But yeah, get 2 partners and face the Shield at WrestleMania. That's the match I see happening.
Well, I don't know. I might have to disagree with you on that. I mean, if he really wanted to, try to break the Shield up, like somehow, is maybe put all 3 of them in a triple threat for the U.S. title and have him as a special guest referee. Now, I know that may not exactly be possible, seeing as how, the Shield's on good terms and whatnot, which the Shield, by the way, you got my support. You got my support. I hope, and believe it or not, I do believe in the Shield. So, but you never know. Your prediction could happen. My prediction could happen. It's inevitable. You never know what's going to happen. It's still WrestleMania season. We still have, 2 weeks away?
We're still a couple weeks away from WrestleMania. I mean, we know there's going to be a triple threat WWE World Heavyweight Championship match. There's going to be Triple H versus Daniel Bryan. There's going to be John Cena versus Bray Wyatt.
Yep.
We got the Andre the Giant 30-man Memorial Battle Royal.
Yep.
We've got so many different names entering. We've got Big Show. We've got The Miz, Dolph Ziggler, Damian Sandow. 3MB was entered this past week on SmackDown.
Oh, wow.
You've got so many different names, big and small, entering in. And really, they brought up a good point this past week. As hokey as it may seem, the key to WrestleMania is having your WrestleMania moment.
Right.
Mick Foley got in 2006 with Edge. Ric Flair had his ultimate WrestleMania moment at WrestleMania 24 in his retirement match with Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels has had numerous WrestleMania moments.
Right.
That's why I believe he should still have the moniker Mr. WrestleMania, despite Undertaker's daunting WrestleMania streak.
Right.
I'm saying here, why not give that WrestleMania moment to someone that WWE plans on making the future, one of the cornerstones of WWE? So for all we know, that could be Dolph Ziggler, that could be Damien Sandow, that could even be Sheamus, who's in the Battle Royal as well. We'll have to see.
Right.
Now, as far as what's going to be happening in the coming week, I have to say, I mean, it's interesting to see where the War of Words is going to take John Cena and Bray Wyatt.
Right.
I mean, Cena's already beaten Rowan. He's already beaten Harper. So now you have to wonder, okay, I mean, is there going to be a handicap match? Is there just going to be like a big ambush? I mean, really, I mean, I'm curious to see where they take this next.
Oh yeah, I'm curious to see how, like what exactly, Bray Wyatt has something in plan for John Cena. I mean, I'm not even kidding. Even I'll even be the second guy to admit it. The guy just scared the crap out of me a little bit. When he first came into the picture, all I could think was like, who the heck is this idiot? And then once he came around, it's
he's taking out Kane. He's taking out Daniel Bryan. He's taking out Punk. He's just like the Shield. The Wyatt family is pretty much just drifted their way through them. They just sort of run them over, so to speak. As time has gone on, really no one's been able to stop them.
Right. I mean, and sadly enough, it's like they're the judge, jury, and executioners. I mean, I know we had the Shield before, but these guys.
These guys.
They charge you mentally and physically.
They attack you from every absolute angle.
Right.
Shield attack you head on. The Wyatt family just attacks from everywhere. You don't know when they're going to show up. You don't know what Bray's going to say. You don't know what Rowan and Harper are going to do.
Right.
And then you just have Bray coming in with a finishing touch to Sister Abigail.
Yeah.
So I mean, Cena's in for a war.
Oh yeah.
For once, a match involving John Cena at WrestleMania, I think it's pretty much up in the air right now.
Right.
As how it's really going to come out.
It's true. It's really true.
Now, and then we're going to see the fallout from the beatdown of Daniel Bryan at the hands of Triple H. I mean, is Bryan going to show up on Raw, or is he still going to be too badly damaged? Because I mean, you heard reports online just how the assault exacerbated his shoulder injury, just separating his shoulder. You wonder, I mean, is he going to be here or is he out? And potentially, is he going to be out of WrestleMania thanks to Triple H? We can only watch and find out.
All right.
And so, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of our show. Again, we'll see coming up this week whether Bryan makes his return. We'll see the continuance of the feud between the Shield and Kane and Bray Wyatt and John Cena, and we just continue to watch to see how WrestleMania shapes up.
Yep.
So for now, ladies and gentlemen, you have a lovely evening. And this is Ken Hill and Zach Martinkus signing off. Stay connected.
And you know it.
The Wrestling Connection.